Hello, everyone, and welcome you all to a new episode on Oral Health Talks. Today's lecture is going to be on an introduction to clinical removable prosthodontics. And the lecture is going to be presented by myself, Dr. Mohammad Ziauddin. I am currently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Prosthodontics, College of Dentistry, which is located in a town called Zulfi uh, within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So it gives me an immense pleasure to welcoming you all to today's session. So without much ado, let us go into today's lecture. So today's lecture is going to be on a simple orientation or an introduction towards clinical removable prosthodontics. So this lecture is largely targeted towards simplifying, the removable uh, prosthesis, like the procedures involved and the types of prostheses that are used by a prosthodontist, so that a dental student or even a layman could try to understand it better. So, if you see prosthodontics as such can be defined as a specialty which attempts to restore or replace missing teeth or contiguous tissues that are associated with the teeth that are missing. So, that is by definition what prosthodontics is. So, we all know what a prosthesis is. Prosthesis is basically replacement of any missing structure in our body by means of an artificial structure. So prosthodontics largely refers to replacement of missing teeth and its related structure by means of artificial prosthesis. So that is basically the definition of prosthodontics. And prosthodontics as such can be divided, or it has got basically three branches. If you see, one is a fixed prosthodontics, wherein in common terms, if you see, we would have commonly heard about crowns or bridges, or in a prosthodontic term we call it as fixed partial dentures or an inlay or an onlay. So these are basically prostheses that are going to replace a missing tooth structure or missing teeth that cannot be removed by the patient. Okay, it is entirely fixed by means of a cement onto the oral cavity, and it cannot be removed by the patient. So there's the next branch of prosthodontics, that is removable prosthodontics. This largely categorizes partial dentures. Again, this is a common terminology that we would have heard. One is a complete removable denture. Another one is a removable partial denture. A complete denture is like when the patient does not have the entire set of teeth. So we fabricate a prosthesis, and which is of removable nature, which can be used by the patient. We call it as a complete removable prosthesis. And then you have certain patients with few teeth that are remaining or few teeth that are missing. So we fabricate a denture called removable partial denture, and we advocate or give it to the patient use. So our lecture today is going to largely focus on removable kind of prosthesis, which is going to restore partial dentition or a complete dentition. So, and again, uh, this lecture is attempted to simply orient you towards what removable prosthodontics is. And then you have one more branch of prosthodontics, which is called maxillofacial prosthodontics, wherein this specialty or this branch aims at largely restoring missing facial structures or associated stomatognathic structures. So you have certain congenital conditions, or in certain patients with trauma, or patients post cancer surgery, you have a large facial defect or an intraoral defect. Again, the specialty that deals with restoring these structures we is called maxillofacial prosthodontics. So again, so this is basically the different branches or specialities of prosthodontics, but these three together are held we could say with the current advancements or the current you know improvements in the field of implantology and the rapid strides that it has made, the impact of implants is there in all the branches. If you take a fixed prosthesis in nature, you could place implants, and you could give the patient, or you could rehabilitate the patient with a fixed implant supported prosthesis. And then you have also implant playing a role in removable prosthesis fabrication, where fewer number of implants, and then you fabricate prosthesis which can be removed by the patient. So but then of course the impact of implant here is going to be the stability, and the retention is going to be improved here. And then of course, even in the field of maxillofacial prosthodontics, if you see, implant has got to play a role in retaining such prosthesis. So this is basically an outline of structure here today on why you remove and the cons that make partial denture, and a brief description about the consultation appointments and appointment involved in fabrication of removable prosthesis. And also I would be highlighting the difference between a removable partial and a complete denture. And I would also explain you or describe you in a simple way the appointment steps that are involved in the fabrication of partial and complete denture. So this is what my talk is going to revolve around today. If you see, so if you categorize treatment option for missing teeth, you already know by now that prosthodontics is to deal with the replacement of missing teeth, or an artificial prosthesis that is attempted to replace missing teeth. Now, if you see the various treatment options for a patient who is coming to you complaining of missing teeth, so what we do is, like, the initial appointment, we diagnose the patient and we formulate a treatment plan. So as we formulate a treatment plan is going to give us, it is like a map by which we are going to arrive at a destination. By the tissues over which the prosthesis is going to lie on, but it is also retained and supported by certain remaining teeth. This is a very important aspect, or this point is very important when we design a prosthesis, because a lot of biomechanics is involved. Being a dentist, we should preserve what is remaining. So if you see here, if you miscalculate, or if proper planning is not involved and you fabricate a prosthesis, what would happen is the remaining tooth structure or remaining tooth could be put into danger, and we could end up in losing those teeth. And talking in terms of underlying soft tissue, again, controlling of stresses falling on these soft tissue is also important to prevent bone loss. So that is an entire different topic for us for another day, which we can discuss on the biomechanics for the partial dentures. So that is one thing. So all this is discussed upon during the consultation appointment. So what the dentist does is, when the patient walks in during the first appointment, we make study models, so for us to study the existing nature of the teeth and the occlusion. And we also make radiographs so that we could understand the support of the remaining teeth, and also if there is any existing pathology that could be identified within the supporting structure or within the bone. And we also make photographs for us to study aesthetics, and we make use of visual aids for us to explain to the patients regarding the treatment outcome, how the treatment outcome is going to be. So this appointment is considered to be very critical or very important, because it develops a trust between us, dentist, and the patient. And the patient can get convinced to the treatment that you offer, and then the patient will cooperate, because most of the treatment options that we have in removable partial dentures involves more number of appointments. So it is very important that you win the confidence of the patient, so that the patient will be cooperative enough until the end of your treatment. So yeah, by doing a case study or by doing a diagnosis and by making use of the radiograph study models, we arrive at a treatment plan which we explain to the patient during the second visit. So the advantages that a removable partial denture offers is that it is easily repaired and adjusted. So this is a very important advantage. And then it restores the function when no distal teeth is present. So this is one of a contraindication for fixed partial denture fabrication. So as I said a little while ago, for a fixed partial denture, you need support on either sides. You need teeth, for a fixed restoration you need teeth both in front and both and also behind, so that a fixed prosthesis can be fabricated. But whereas if you do not have teeth distally or posterior region, you could fabricate removable partial denture. So it restores function, especially when there is no distal teeth present, and it involves fewer intraoral procedures in comparison to your fixed prosthesis, and it is easier to maintain oral hygiene for the abutment because the prosthesis is removable in nature, so you could remove, and oral hygiene measures can be easily maintained, and it restores long span of dentitions, like when the patient has got many number of missing teeth. So this would be an ideal treatment option. And even the proper occlusal plane is maintained. Plane of occlusion is very important for the stability of the prosthesis, so we could maintain with this. It stabilizes the arch, it prevents further migration, or it prevents further supraeruption of the teeth, and it supports, or we could also say it has a certain amount of splinting nature or for the existing remaining teeth. If you plan a prosthesis ideally, if you plan and design a prosthesis good, it is going to support even in terms of periodontal, it is going to offer periodontal support for the remaining teeth as well. And of course it is less expensive than the fixed treatment option. The various contraindication would be like lack of sufficient number of natural teeth that is properly located in the arch. We call that strategic abutment. So when sufficient number of teeth to take support are not ideally placed, it is going to be one contraindication for a removable partial prosthesis. Lack of teeth with adequate root support, again it is going to be one contraindication. You would rather extract those teeth, as I said earlier, and go for a complete denture fabrication. And rampant caries or gross periodontal problem, again it is better that rather than fabricating a temporary prosthesis and getting the remaining teeth removed later, and again going ahead with fabrication a new or a second prosthesis, it is very well planned that you could remove those teeth and fabricate a prosthesis, complete prosthesis. Then essential maintenance of oral hygiene is mandatory for any kind of processes. This is a golden rule for any kind of processes. If you see a fixed partial denture, or if you take into consideration implant supported processes or a removable process, any prosthesis, the patient has to maintain a very good oral hygiene. So if you feel that the patient is not going to be cooperative, then again it could be contraindication for fabrication of the prosthesis. So if you see partial dentures, it could be in broad terms, you could say it could be of an interim nature and a definitive or a permanent type. So in interim partial dentures, we have another name, we call them as the gum strippers, because like we fabricated for for the use of the patient for a limited period of time, like until a more definitive treatment option, until a more like you until you fabricate a more definitive prosthesis. So in the meantime you fabricate an interim. So since not a lot of surveying and not a lot of designing is involved in fabricating such interim prosthesis, there is a tendency that increased forces or more forces could fall on the remaining abutment teeth, and so we could end up losing those teeth. So it is advised that a more definitive treatment options, which involves surveying and which involves a proper planning for the prosthesis, to be considered as a more permanent option. So we call it as a definitive option, otherwise known as the cast partial prosthesis. So if you compare again, as I said earlier, the treatment steps involving interim and definitive or a permanent or a cast partial denture, you see here additional steps that are involved here with a definitive or a permanent cast partial prosthesis. The additional steps being, if you see to the right side of the slide, a surveying that is involved, which is very important, which we usually forego when we fabricate a interim prosthesis. So surveying it forms because it takes us to a lead, or it takes us to orientation towards where we could place the components ideally on the cast, on the prosthesis, so that lesser forces, or you could control forces falling on the teeth. So surveying is very important, which we do not do usually for an interim prosthesis. And then again, surveying is followed by a removable partial design, which we usually do for a definitive or a permanent prosthesis. Again, we do not do it for the interim prosthesis. And then you see here there is this prosthetic mouth preparation, which again, before fabricating a definitive prosthesis, we do a prosthetic mouth preparation as well, which we forego here with an interim prosthesis. So you could understand by this that more steps or more procedures are involved in fabricating a definitive or a permanent prosthesis. Hence it has an impact on the longevity as well. It is better designed in terms of controlling forces, or in terms of convenience, in terms of mastication, in terms of everything, in terms of chewing efficiency. So it serves to be a better kind of a prosthesis. And then if you see other steps, it is going to be essentially the same. Like the diagnosis and the treatment planning it is essentially the same. And the initial pre-prosthetic mouth preparation, it is going to be the same. The primary impression, the dual impression, or the secondary impression, it is going to be the same. And then you have a trial, you have a jaw relationship, teeth arrangement. The only thing that differentiates between these two, or more importantly, is going to be the surveying and the designing procedure, which is involved with a definitive or a permanent kind of a prosthesis. Now, this is an image of definitive prosthesis. If you see here, there are different components that are outlined here, and these components are carefully placed on strategic sites or ideal sites which could dissipate forces. So if you see the basic structure, or the basic component, is going to be the major connector, which connects the right to the left side of the prosthesis. We call it as the major connector. And then you have a minor connector, which connects the peripheral components, such as the occlusal rests and the tooth that are restored to the major connector. So we call it as the minor connector. And then you have the denture base that supports the teeth. And then you also have the occlusal rest, which transmits or it acts as a support by which the forces can be transmitted along the long axis of the supporting teeth. So you essentially have different components such as outlined here, and these components are designed and planned by the outcome of the surveying that we do involving the treatment plan of such prostheses. So moving on to a complete denture. A complete denture is in contrast, it is going to be supported entirely by the alveolar bone and the oral mucosa. Again, by just stating that it is going to be supported by alveolar bone and oral mucosa, it does not give us the liberty that we take them for granted. It is again a primary responsibility of a dentist or a prosthodontist to control the forces, because any prosthesis, or even any prosthesis is going to generate some amount of force within the oral cavity. So it is the primary responsibility of the dentist to control the biomechanics, so that there is not so that he minimizes the alveolar bone loss or any damage to the oral mucosa. So that is going to be the primary responsibility for the dentist. So the indications for a complete denture would be extensive bone loss. When the patient has got extensive bone loss because of a periodontal disease, so you fabricate a complete denture because the few remaining teeth have got hopeless prognosis and it has been removed, and the lack of motivation or inability or the ability to maintain the teeth is less, again you remove. And gross decay or extensive periodontal abscess, you extract the remaining teeth and you fabricate a prosthesis. A previously edentulous patient who is already wearing a denture, and patients who refuses partial denture treatment, and lack of financial resources for alternative treatments such as implant supported prosthesis. So so all this could be categorized into the indications. And the parts forming a complete denture would be a denture base that is going to support the artificial tooth, and then the teeth as such that is going to be restored. And each one has got its own function. If you see, a denture base is going to offer you the support, and over which the tooth is going to be restored. So equally it is important by which we fabricate, the technique and the procedure by which we design and fabricate a denture base. It is equally important towards restoring with the artificial teeth. And the teeth, as you know, is going to primarily restore the functions such as the chewing, the aesthetics, and the phonetics for the patient. And if you again categorize the different surfaces of the complete denture has got a polished surface. That is, to your lower left side of the slide, you could see a shiny polished surface, or the external surface, outer surface of the denture. And you have a fitting surface which is going to rest on top of the oral tissues. And then you also have the occlusal surface. Now, for us to understand, this is a very basic for your complete denture. Like, you have three different surfaces, and each of the surface has to be recorded and designed properly for the success and outcome of the prosthesis. So for us, this lecture is just aimed at introducing to the different surfaces. Subsequent lectures we can deal with different concepts or different aspects of how these surfaces are important and how to record them and how to design them to improve the success of the prosthesis. Now, the objectives of our complete denture treatment would be in terms of restoration of aesthetics, restoration of speech, primary, request or restoration would be from any other edentular patient would be the patient would want to chew. So that is primary objective in most of the cases. And preservation of remaining tissue health, as I said earlier, this is also of utmost importance. And then you have patient satisfaction and comfort. So all these are the objectives by which we fabricate a complete denture. And then you have different types of complete denture. There you have the conventional, you have the immediate, you have the overdenture, single complete denture, and then you have implant retain. All these dentures would be all these different types of dentures would be dealt upon with in the subsequent lectures of our oral health lecture series. So again, outlining about the different clinical and the laboratorical steps that are involved in fabricating a complete denture would be like, you basically, like when the patient comes to you, you could say that in a conventional denture fabrication, the patient might have to come for a minimum of 6 visits, including your initial visit, that is going to be your consultation or initial examination. And then you would have a next visit which involves a primary impression making, and a third visit might involve a final impression making. And then you have next important visit, that is going to be the recording of jaw relationship. And next